From Studio A, here's John McIntyre.
Oh, where to go?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast. We're live and in color from high atop Television Hill. And look, there's a Night Talk co-anchor now. It's the lovely and talented Lynn Cullen of
Thank you very much.
WPTT AM radio.
Getting
Who's
dressed.
putting on her wiring. Yes, she was just naked 5 minutes ago. Now she's getting all dressed up for us. And boy, what are we going to talk about tonight, you might ask, as we continue our week-long Night Talk live from the newsroom presentation. One of the things I thought we might talk about is Lynn scratch. You want me to scratch back there?
Oh, I'm just...
Since we're in the television newsroom, and since you used to do television news before you started yammering for a living, and since so did I before I started yammering for a living, we should talk a little bit about television news and whether it sucks, why people do it and why people watch it and why they don't.
How dare you do that to me? Here I am in a television newsroom, and you know that I'm...
She's very anti-television news.
Which camera are we on now?
We're on the big one.
Oh, hi.
Yeah.
What? Straight ahead?
He said straight ahead.
I see. Okay, thank you. So, I mean, that's not fair. You want me to excoriate the very people?
Let me see here. Somewhere, see, this is a static two-shot right now because we have no cameraman. See, I go like this. There's no cameraman.
And the camera can't follow him.
But this thing goes down somehow. I don't know where the switch is. Oh, well, anyway. Maybe we'll move the monitor down later so you can actually see the exciting channel of a newsroom and the
yes, I can hear you.
Beehive buzzing with activity. Also, though, we've got to talk about my favorite subject, and I suspect Lynn's, or maybe you're just sick of talking about it, and that would be George W. Bush being the incredible nincompoop that he is, and his incredible drop in the polls as a result. Al Gore being the, I don't know what he is, but whatever he is, he's better than George W.
He ain't a nincompoop.
No, sir. No, ma'am.
Yes.
And we are ecstatic about that being part of the evil liberal media, vast left-wing conspiracy. And we could do a newscast together. Look at that.
Do you think we look like it?
Yeah.
No, you know what? I was told...
The Cullen McIntyre Report. Hi, everybody. I'm me.
I was called into a general manager's office once and told that I moved my hands too much. You know, have you noticed that anchor? Yeah, I do. I gesticulate. And do you know what?
Sorry to hear that.
No, you're not.
I'll clean that up later. Yeah.
Okay. And just yesterday, I was gesticulating as I was telling a story to somebody, and my own thumbnail rammed into me. You see this? I have like a cut.
Kirk Douglas dimple there.
It's a cut. I drew blood. So you can't have an anchor woman who does that.
When you had your little show here at 10 in the morning on PCNC not long ago,
well, I take exception to you calling it a little show.
I consider this a little show.
It was every bit as long as yours. It was an hour long.
Yours was bigger than mine. Yours was bigger than mine.
Yeah, right.
I consider this a tiny,
it was my little show. It was a little show, and I gesticulated.
My point is, yes, you were big on that at the yeah. So, what do you say we take a break, and then when we come back, we'll pick one of those topics, and we'll even let you get in on the fun at 333 PCNC when Night Talk continues on the Pittsburgh Cable News Channel.
You see, I look at you like that, like I'm very interested.
Exactly, just like an anchor woman.
Yes.
We got to get some news copy up here.
And then I go like this.
The official transportation provider of Night Talk is Pittsburgh Limousine. Whether it's for business or a special night on the town, Pittsburgh Limousine is the one clear choice in transportation.
Crivelli.
High top Television Hill. Did you see the skyline there?
No, but I did.
Put it up. Isn't it?
Wow, what a city. It's beautiful or what?
Yeah. Why are all the young people leaving?
I don't know. Maybe they don't have, well, because they don't have jobs, I guess.
That's it?
Yeah. And when they
do get... It's freaking me out looking at us in a newsroom set. I feel like we should be doing something important. You know, there's just been a major thing just blew up, and many people are scurrying around. And Lynn, what have you learned so far?
Well, I think if television, if television were brighter, they would have two people like us in a position like this, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but we can't put down the fine people they have here because they have great people. Here at the TV station, that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely, and I adore them. But what I'm saying is there's a place for people like us. And
what is it?
They don't know what to do with people like us.
Why not?
They're drawn to our strong personalities, our strong points of view, and they hire us, and then they tell us to shut up and stop waving your hands around so much. We make them nervous.
All right, well, as we proposed the first couple of topics, were either how dumb is George W. and does he have a snowball's chance in hell of winning?
Well,
or
yes, he does.
Television news and what's the deal with that? What can we do to improve it? Is there anything wrong with it? Yabba, yabba, yabba. And a couple of people have already called, and I don't even know what they want to talk about, but let's find out. Let's roll the dice, and let's talk to Elizabeth. By the way, 333 PCNC is the number. Elizabeth?
Yes, John.
Hey.
Hi.
You know the lovely Lynn?
A little, I don't want to say upset, but
She's upset.
Lynn had said the comment about, and you had said it too, that George W. is a nincompoop.
He said.
I would.
Well, no, but, you know, as you gave the impression, Lynn, that
I'm in agreement with that.
The best thing since sliced bread. The one thing that I wanted to say was that, I'm sorry, I'm very nervous.
That's right, just relax.
How can you
Take
be
your time,
nervous?
by the way.
Look at him and look at me. We're not taking this seriously, and you've got a perfect reason to have, disagree with us about that. Go ahead.
I'm being unfairly
Anyway.
one-sided, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
Anyway, my question was, Al Gore has made a major blunder by saying about breast cancer.
What did he say?
He said that women should have sonograms. Well, guess what?
It's mammograms.
They're called mammograms.
I just had one. Have you ever had one?
Have I? No.
You're too young, I can tell. Do you know what they do on a mammogram?
No.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, it's
I worked in
unbelievable.
the medical profession.
Like-
You cannot believe what can happen to a breast.
Yeah. Well, was this recently or a while ago, Elizabeth?
Okay, so that's a misstatement.
I believe yesterday out in Las Vegas.
A misstatement. Do you know how many hours he campaigned yesterday, Al Gore?
Well, no, but,
Yeah,
but as you know, she's saying we kill Bush all the time every time he says subliminal. Why don't we kill Gore when he says...
When's that sonogram
I got to
instead
admit,
of
now,
mammogram?
I'm unaware of that. I haven't seen sonogram versus mammogram. I didn't know that.
Didn't know that because the press is liberal and they don't
It's
report
the
it.
evil left-wing, vast left-wing
Okay,
conspiracy.
anything else? Is that the one you had? Is that it?
That's basically
Okay,
it.
well, I've got something sort of like that that I noticed in the paper today. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Did you see it today?
Yeah.
Oh, she gone?
Yeah, she's probably...
Okay.
So go ahead.
Okay, but it's true. The press, the media, get these sort of cartoonish ideas of people, and then, yes, now we're looking for every misstatement that George Bush makes, right?
I'm dying for the next one.
Well, I know they're wonderful, and there'll be more, because he clearly is sort of... There's something addled in
If he's
there.
not dyslexic...
I mean, I'm sorry, sonogram for mammogram is not half as bad as
subliminal.
being held hostile by terriers.
I forgot about by terriers. Did he say by terriers instead of
and
terrorists?
then he repeated it.
Yeah.
He was reading
Right.
I mean, it's sort of like you think, what possibly could be happening when somebody says that and then repeats it?
Maybe he was trying to do something subliminal.
No. Okay, so subliminal is one of those words that could...
Right.
It's like indefatigable. Can you say that?
Indefatigable.
Very good. So you should be an anchor man.
Should be an anchor
But
man.
here's something I noticed today. I'm sorry, what was her name?
Her name was Elizabeth. Lynn, back to you.
Well, John, Elizabeth has a point. But I noticed something today. Now, Bush targets gender gap.
Yeah.
Metaphor of Life tour is kicked off. Every few minutes these days, because his campaign isn't working, they are reinventing him.
Well, they were reinventing Gore, too, as you know, for a while.
But that's what they do with Gore. Gore was the guy who was being reinvented.
Right.
Well, they're doing it to him. He started out, what?
He's going after the women.
He kept saying, my campaign is about politics with a purpose. That didn't work. So all of a sudden, his campaign was real plans for real. They keep redoing it. He keeps coming out as a different person. If this were the Gore campaign, all the jabber would be about, who is he? He just keeps reinventing himself.
He's a chameleon.
Is he the compassionate conservative? Is he the guy who has a real plan for real people? Now he's got metaphors for life. He used to do this. Now he wants to, appear in Pittsburgh, which he'll do tomorrow morning with real people because he's got real plans, so he's using props. But the media doesn't do that thing to Bush. That's the thing they do to Gore.
Right, so they're unfair...
all the way around.
Period,
It's a cartoonish kind of a silly aspect of the way the American media cover these campaigns.
It's a silly ass what?
I didn't say that. I said silly aspect.
I heard you. Oh, all right.
So the whole thing is that while you can understandably feel that we're waiting for the next, verbal blunder from Bush, The fact is, there's certain things that they're sort of always looking for Al, from Al Gore, too. And I really think
I continue to believe the bias is sensationalism. The bias is whatever story will create buzz, not a liberal or conservative bias.
Why, absolutely. I mean, being in the media, I know that.
Yeah. You'll go for anything. Even though you're a liberal, you'll anything that works and will create a buzz and will get phone callers to your fine show, noon to 3 on WPTT, you will exploit
Do you know what the most amazing thing in this whole article today was? And I didn't hear anybody say anything about it today, and I didn't either. George Bush, speaking yesterday, talked about that valiant, listen to that word, valiant person, the single mother.
You're a single mother.
I know. But what I found most astonishing about that is how long ago was it that Dan Quayle, with Republicans just cheering him on, was excoriating Murphy Brown and all single mothers. And now, because they're just desperate for the women's vote, which Gore is just taking hook, line, and sinker, George W. Bush, Murphy Brown's fine. As a matter of fact, I admire her. As a matter of fact, she's a valiant woman.
I feel like Regis and Kathy Lee. We're doing like the opening 20 minutes of Regis and Kathy Lee.
That is an insult.
No, it is not. She was quite a good yapper. Many people, she was a polarizing personality. Some people didn't like her. She's not nearly as,
You're saying I'm
the big intellectual. No, I'm not.
All right.
I'm not at all, seriously. No, I just mean it's weird because, you know my show, usually I sit and babble for a while and then it's a set and it's a night. It's a different sort of a look with on the newsroom thing.
Well, just get over it.
I can't get past it.
Gee.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, more calls, hopefully at 333 PCNC on George W. with the lovely Lynn Cullen on Night Talk. Stay with us.
Night Talk is sponsored in part by Highfield Open MRI, the strongest open magnet in Pittsburgh.
Back live from the Channel 11 newsroom with the lovely Lynn Cullen, John McIntyre co-anchoring this very important edition of Night Talk. Back to you, Lynn.
See how you do that. You do know how to do that. Did you ever have a consultant?
That's why I buttoned my suit. Oh, I had consultants.
Did you? See, I never had
They flew me into Dallas, Texas when I was an anchor in Orlando, and the woman said, John, you get high points for comfortability and very low points for likability. And they told me they were flying me there just to, teach me how to go like this better or something. And they didn't tell me they were going to give me research which said that nobody liked me.
No one liked you. They probably thought you were too much of a smart aleck.
Exactly. That is what it was, yeah.
It's like the same kind of George W. Bush thing. It's sort of a smirk.
So then after that, I had to try to be, Mr. Happy. And that wasn't me, so it looked even stupider. Go figure. But anyway, we're talking about George W. Bush.
Talk about real people. See, television's not comfortable with real people. Real plans for real people.
Yeah.
They don't like real people. By the way, real plans for real people. What the heck does that
I think that's as...
Well, so what's the opposite of unreal plans for unreal people?
I know, but
what does that mean, these stupid things?
That the average moron walking along the street might be helped by George W. It takes an average moron to know an average moron. That's what I say. Here's Don. Don, how are you tonight?
Hello?
Hey.
Don?
No, this is
Dan. I'm sorry, Dan. Excuse me, my fault. Dan?
Yeah. My question is, isn't the lines between George W. Bush and Gore just so blurred that there's no difference, no matter who you vote for?
Don't kid yourself. There's a difference.
But a lot of people say that there's no difference between the political parties anymore. Ralph Nader says that. Ralph
Nader says it because it's what he's running on. Yeah. Listen, there's plenty of similarities between the two parties in that, they're essentially in corporate America's pocket.
And moving to the center, everybody wants to be in the middle.
Everybody's sort of crowding into the center. But there is still differences to be had. First of all, the Republicans are much deeper into the corporate America's pocket. Wouldn't you agree?
But the liberal Democrats are evil into the Hollywood moguls' pocket.
Do you know, that is
and the big superstars.
It's all such nonsense.
And they're polluting our minds.
No, I agree.
Listen, wait a minute. The Wall Street Journal had a rundown the other day. The Wall Street Journal, which is hardly a liberal rag, had a rundown of how much money each candidate had received.
But everybody
from Hollywood.
Do with the media today.
Well, let me tell you, the Democrats have received $13.2 million from Hollywood sources. George W. Bush, 11.1
so he's down a couple of million.
Oh, big deal.
No, so he's
not in. I mean, they're both on the
Don, do you know who you're going to vote for? Don, do you know who you're voting for? Dan, do you know who you're voting for?
I'm sorry. No, I don't. I haven't made up my mind yet. I'm sorry.
With an A, Dan.
Dan?
Yes.
Are you still there?
I'm still here.
Who the hell are you going to vote for, damn it?
I'm not sure yet.
Probably George
You're
Bush.
one of
with
those
that kind of a-
undecided.
Ralph Nader's my man.
Listen,
You're going to waste your vote. You're going to help elect George W. if you vote for Nader.
what issues are the most important to you? If you were to like, what do you care about?
You care about somebody pronouncing your name right. He's listening to the TV. Okay, Dan, thanks a lot for calling. Good luck deciding whether to listen to the telephone or the TV. He's one of those undecided people. Here's Connie. Connie, how are you? Here's Lynn Cullen, talking Bush.
So pleased to talk to Lynn Cullen.
Pardon me?
I said I'm just so pleased to finally talk to you.
Well, thank you very much.
Why don't you call a radio show?
I was being facetious.
That's what I thought. I thought that's why I looked a little unsure, didn't she? There was like venom in her.
I couldn't tell, but anyway.
Well, yeah.
There's no venom, Lynn.
You can be
There's no
venomous,
venom
Connie.
whatsoever.
Pardon me?
There's no venom whatsoever.
Well, why do you...
It's just that you're just so absolutely ridiculous. You just never met a Republican you could ever even stand to be in the same room with.
She voted for Jim Roddy.
I voted for Barbara Hafer. I voted for Arlen Specter. I don't know what the heck you're talking about.
Yeah, right. You don't know. You're standing there pulling the same routine that George W. is dyslexic and everything like that.
Oh, I don't think he's dyslexic. I think he's just dumb.
He's not dumb. Who are you to sit and judge this man?
I'm a citizen of the United
voter.
States of America. I have to try to judge him to decide whether or not to vote for him.
Pardon me?
I said I'm a citizen of the country, so I have to judge him to decide whether or not I want to vote for him.
Right.
No, you should probably judge him on the facts, and since you don't have the facts...
I think the facts are debatable, the facts are interpretable, and I think the fact
You
is
want to know
he's
the
an
facts?
idiot.
Okay, the facts are he scored 357 points higher than Al Gore on his SAT.
I don't know. All I know is without Dad,
they
he's
had
pulling strings. He wouldn't have got into Yale.
And he had, oh, bull, he had a higher...
What'd you get on your SATs?
What did I get on my SAT?
Yeah.
1475. Is that high enough?
Whoa! Whoa! Mostly verbal or
get that.
math?
It was, math is my higher. I got 850 in my math.
Anyway, he sounds like... So I wish you were running for president, because I'd rather vote for you than George W.
Well, you're all going to be surprised because he cleaned Ann Richards' clock in the debate.
Yeah. Well, listen, I got...
It's going to be a bumpy night.
Well, I agree.
All right, well, that'll be fun. Well, the night after the debate, if we have Lynn or whoever else, call back in.
I'm going to tell you something. Al Gore is a political whore. Just the other day...
They're all political whores.
He said again, oh, my mother-in-law's prescription is opposed to my dog's prescription, and it turns out it was nothing but taken from a DNC political talking
Yes,
point that
I've
they
heard
had.
that.
And
I was telling you about that
and
today.
He lied again.
He screwed up
also
on some
lied-
prescription drug analogy, but I don't know if it was a lie or a misstatement, and I'm waiting to see more reporting on it to make my decision. And
Oh,
if
yeah,
he
it'll
screwed up,
take
they
him
ought to
3
sue
days.
him.
It'll take him 3 days to get his talking points out so they can all spin in the same direction. And he also stood there and gave that tearful speech at the Democratic Convention several years ago about his being at his dying sister's,
Yeah, I agree with that. That was disgusting.
bedside when it clearly showed in his diary he was in California when she died.
Well, it doesn't matter. It was just disgusting.
Well,
I cannot stand the use of family members for... I mean,
well,
it just,
plus his family used to grow tobacco on the farm, and then he's complaining about his sister.
That's what I'm saying. He's just talking about how disgusting it was about his sister dying from tobacco.
Right.
Yet 4 years later, running for president, I grew the stuff. I dried the stuff.
Is that like Cheney saying that every time he flew over Arlington National Cemetery and saw all those crosses in a row, how proud he was to be an American? There aren't any crosses at Arlington National Cemetery.
That's right.
You know, they all...
But
Listen,
anyway, Connie,
they're all...
thanks for your call.
He's caught up in lie after lie after lie.
I don't think it's a lie if he screwed up the prescription drug thing and he said it cost more for his dog than his mother-in-law, and he got the facts wrong. It's a screw-up, but it's not a lie. I can't believe the implication on the right-wing, rabid right-wing talk radio today was that he just made it up and didn't think anybody'd check on it. I think I'll just start making things up. He's not that stupid. You're just unhappy. These things bother you.
Yeah,
the best revenge will be when
these
George
elections,
W. goes down the tubes.
it does not bring out the best in Connie, was it?
Yes.
She did not come off as a very nice human being.
I bet she's smarter than George W.
She might. Listen, and it doesn't bring out the best in...
Here's George, the animal parfait.
It doesn't bring out the best in me. I mean, we all get sort of vicious and ugly because, and I do not enjoy this time of year every 4 years. I don't like this at all.
Let me read this lovely letter and then I got to take a break. This is a letter from an actual Night Talk viewer, Tim, I can't read the last name. Dear John, even though I enjoyed Night Talk, I think a couple of adjustments should be made. analyst was funny the first few times, because I call like John Delano the political analyst or Bill Green the political analyst, and it really fits for Green. And I agree that, you know, I beat that to death.
Hey, by the way, did he say to you...
Would you let me finish this?
No. Did he say to you, did Bill Green, the Republican consultant, say to you that he thinks George W. Bush is unqualified?
I'm going to save that for after the break. And number two, as far as George W. Bush's intelligence, you need only to look at your last Friday's show where your staff had Kent the Shark Boy Gates, campaign manager was spelled with 2 G's. So I just want to say it's true, I checked the tape, it was spelled with 2 G's. I am an idiot, and that's why I am not running for president, and that's why I would encourage you not to vote for me if I run for any political office, because I'm an idiot. So I don't think you should vote for me or George W.
Well, finally, we're in agreement with something.
All right, so I just wanted to take my medicine because we did make a mistake. 2 G's in campaign.
Okay.
Back in a moment with Lynn, we will answer her question about whether or not Bill actually said to me that George W. is not qualified, and we'll take more of your calls at 333-PCNC on Night Talk in a moment.
The official transportation provider of Night Talk is Pittsburgh Limousine. Whether it's for business or a special night on the town, Pittsburgh Limousine is the one clear choice in transportation.
Back live now at the Channel 11 newsroom, John McIntyre along with Lynn and Cullen anchoring the news.
See, I never learned how to do that. I didn't learn how to do that? Because I was never an anchor. No, I was never an anchor. I was a character.
I thought we looked like an anchor team because we're sitting in the newsroom here, but here's a real anchor team.
Here they are.
That we hope we could get actual tips from to say, like, what...
You look good, by the way.
Like, what should we do?
Hold a pen in your hand. I don't have to have a prop.
That's right.
More comfortable.
And what's that shuffling paper stuff? Yeah?
Do you know? Can you show me how to shuffle paper?
Okay. You only have one here. It doesn't quite.
No? But I bet you could. I bet you could make it look like a few.
I'm a good paper shuffler. I mean, you get that done. David can make his papers stand up.
Can he really?
Yeah, it's just...
Is it like a magic trick?
Well, this isn't a real paper.
Like 50 pieces of paper.
He can make it stand up. Yeah, that's his.
Crisp as heck, and then slam it down like a 2-buck-war.
You know, you do...
Well, how do you...
Silly stuff.
What's this?
It's a microphone that,
all right.
Thank God, is not connected.
It's a weapon.
And so when you look with great interest at each other as the other speaking, you really sincerely are interested?
I would say about 37%.
All right, how about these? Do you do these?
Yeah.
I don't really see you guys do
What is that about?
No.
Chris Long used to do some of
Chris
those.
Long could do that.
The
Long.
glasses where you can take them off, put them on, and...
Yeah, we're not quite to that level.
Really good.
All right. Well, and so you guys are going to do the news on the other station when the Olympics break again, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So people could tune over like after Night Talk if they wanted to see that.
Absolutely,
They so
and we suggest they do so.
You guys know who you're voting for yet? You can't say. You're anchor
They
people.
can't
You're
say. They don't have
hopelessly
opinions.
neutral.
Can't say.
All right.
But it's interesting.
Absolutely.
I'm enjoying it.
Can't wait for the debates.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be exciting. Hey!
See?
Well, thanks for dropping by.
You got it. Good to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
All right.
David. Listen, give me my moment in the sun. Get lost. You get enough time on the air.
They really are. They're better anchor people than we are, to be honest.
Yeah.
They just sort of reek anchor credibility.
Just because they're pretty.
We have no credibility. Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. We were taking calls on Gore Bush and stuff like that. Here's George. Lynn Cullen.
No, you were going to tell me if Bill Green...
Well, hello, John and Lynn. How are you this evening?
Hey, George, listen to this. Once on my show, Republican political analyst Bill Green, see there I go again, I was filling in for one of these guys on WPTT radio where Lynn is there every day from noon to 3.
Thank you very much.
And some caller called in and he yelled at Bill Green. He said, you know what? He isn't even qualified, meaning George W. to be president. And Bill Green said, I agree with you, sir. I agree with you, sir. Because he doesn't think only one term in the Texas governorship qualifies somebody to be president. He then followed up by saying, however, I still think the alternative of Al Gore is worse because of his policies.
So he really doesn't.
But he did say he was unqualified.
John.
Yes, sir.
I scored 120 points less than Connie in the SATs. Now, here I was skimming through the channels, and I saw Angie Dickinson with Larry King, and then I spotted Lynn Cullen.
Yesterday's news.
And I said, I have to watch Lynn Cullen.
Lynn Cullen puts Angie Dickinson to shame.
You are terrific.
Yeah, but Angie Dickinson, man, she rode hard and put up wet.
Watching you, I happened to see you pull out an article from today's paper. And you know what? It was the same article I pulled out.
Really?
Yes. But here's the difference between our take on the article. I thought that they put George, and by the way, I'm voting for Josiah Bartlett.
Who?
Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen?
Oh, the West Wing
He's
character
our next
must be,
president.
yeah.
He should be our next president. So anyway, I happened to see you, and you pull out this article. It's the same article I pulled out. And here's the take that I get, and you compare it with yours. I see George Bush in a suit holding a piece of paper. I see Al Gore in a casual shirt holding a baby. I see George Bush being described as, "Women of America, beware. George Bush wants your vote." The lead paragraph for Al Gore is, Al Gore endorsed new protections for women who receive medical care through HMOs. It seems that there's a different
that's the liberal bias? Now, but George Bush got above the fold. George Bush got the main headline above the fold. He wins.
You know, it's funny. It just shows, listen, you know, Gore was down here, and it was a little teeny picture. But, you know, that's funny because what I saw, because of my own bias, is, what is this? It's all Bush above the fold. Gore is this big.
That's my point, Lynn. Isn't it amazing how you and I see things in such a different light?
Well, George, it certainly is. Thanks so much for your call.
I appreciate it.
Here's Pat for Lynn Cullen. Pat? I'm sorry, I'm in there.
Yeah.
Hey.
Pam, you can't even read your own
No, it's Pat. I got that one right.
I'd like to know what gives you and Lynn the authority to knock Bush.
We have no authority. We have no credibility. We're just citizens. What gives us the authority to knock Bush, she says.
Hory Gory is no angel.
Who?
Gory.
Hory Gory.
Hory Gory. Hory Gory, hallelujah.
Let me tell you, I would rather be an elephant than a jackass donkey. Thank you.
Were you working on that for a long time there, Pat? What, you have to be a Republican to watch this show? What is this?
No, but people, you inspire, you bring out the venom in people.
Yeah, right.
All right, let's take a break and get some more of your calls immediately. When we come back on Night Talk with Lynn Cullen, 333 PCNC, Gore versus W continues.
The elephants are running scared.
Back live in the Channel 11 newsroom, John McIntyre along with Lynn Cullen covering the breaking disaster that is this program. Let's go live now to one of the newsroom workers to see if they're actually working. No?
No? Yes.
They're now a newsroom worker actually typing away something, gathering the information that only you can use, that only you need, the information that you would like to have so that you can get whatever the hell it is, that whatever news people say when they're trying to sound important.
Boy, does she look excited.
Do you think she's just comatose? Is she just dead? Or
No,
is she actually looking at something?
she heard you. She's pretending to pick up the phone now.
Right,
just get off her. That's not
Whatever.
nice.
You're right. News people. What are they doing here at night? All right, here's Dan. Dan, how are you this evening? Oh, Bill. Bill, how are you? Bill.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Fine.
Lynn, I listen to your radio program whenever I can. I enjoy it. And long live liberalism.
Whoa, William, thank you.
Darn right. It's what corrected the country. We saw what Republicans do, and we saw what Republicans do when they're at the helm, and we know the results of that. And we also saw how the Republicans do when liberalism is at the top. There's no reason to change the course in the middle of the stream. We know what works now. We had the 90s to prove it. How anybody would be able to jump on the back of an elephant is just really got their head up there, bleep.
Stay the course. All right, Bill, thanks a lot.
It's nice to know that, I mean, well, good.
There's one for our side.
Balance in...
Nah, we don't. We want more screaming and venom. Here's Bob. Bob, how are you? Do you know who you're voting for, Bob?
Yeah, it's Bob.
Who? Hey, Bob.
This is Bob Knight.
This is Bob.
Bobby Knight. It's Bobby Knight.
That's correct.
Bob, you know, would you like to actually tell us how we should address you? Coach Knight?
No, you don't want to do that.
All right, well, go ahead.
Okay, here's my question to you guys. You guys are reporting in the media here on the local, the talking heads here on the local 3 big stations.
Well, we can't put one past you, Bob.
That ozone hour is ahead in the polls.
Yeah.
Yet I go on the internet and I find the polls are sitting at around 59 to 60% for George W.
It's a vast left-wing conspiracy. Everybody at the 3 local stations is an evil liberal liar.
No, I didn't say that, but I'm just saying that
yes,
I get on the net and I get a different set of numbers.
I know, I agree. You know what? After Bush loses the election, I'd get back on that damn internet if I were you. You'll feel better.
Now, all the major polling, all of it, is still showing Gore ahead, although it is it's not as, he was 8 points up. He's down.
Yeah, you know what? A
3.
USA Today poll said he was at 5, but he was at 8 in their poll.
Yeah.
So maybe the tide is turning.
It's very tight, but he's a little bit ahead.
Yeah, he's got a tight butt, but I think that should be irrelevant.
It's a very...
If you ask me.
It's a very tight election. It's going to be very tight.
Because now, as you know, here's what needs to happen. Now we have the pendulum bias. Gore's up, so they have to have Bush charge back and then get a slight advantage.
They have to make it dramatic.
Right, and then Gore has to win at the end.
But let me explain, what's her name with the high, SAT score?
Connie.
Who said, wait till the debate, you're going to be surprised. And I agree with her,
because
and I have been saying this. This is what it was all about. All of his efforts appear to be nervous, to not want, he keeps talking about, he's still saying Al Gore's a great debater. He wants to keep upping the expectation that Al Gore is going to clean his clock so that when he does reasonably well, puts a few words together in in what could be sentences, and sentences together in what could even be cogent paragraphs on occasion, that everyone will say, well, look at that.
Bill Green said last night.
He's not an nincompoop.
Bill Green said last night in this fine program he thinks that George needs to win 2 out of the 3 clearly in order to be elected.
I've watched. Did you ever watch the debates when he was debating McCain during the?
No, I never saw a full-fledged entire debate.
He wasn't a total idiot in those.
Yeah?
He did fine, and he had his back against the wall in those South Carolina
debates. Well, and McCain could be pretty vicious. Yeah.
He also, as you know, did okay with Ann Richards when he sought.
That's what the caller pointed out.
He sought to the same kind of thing, trying desperately to dodge the debate, but lowering the expectations, and he does okay.
But remember when Gore debated Ross Perot on NAFTA, and everybody thought Perot was going to win because he was allegedly the glib guy with the quick phrase, and Gore cleaned his clock.
You see, but this is where the media, again, you raise expectations. Remember when Ed Muskie won in the New Hampshire primary?
And then he cried.
No. And then it was said that he lost because whoever came in second did better than they expected him to.
But remember, didn't he get
and then he cried because I don't know if it was Muskie, but it's this expectation game, and that's what the Republicans are playing, and they've positioned themselves very well.
Here is Jeff. Jeff, how are you tonight?
Good. How are you doing?
Just great.
Good. Hey, I just wanted to change the subject a little bit.
Oh, God bless you.
Thank you, huh? Listen, I was just wondering, Bill Clinton's going out of office, and how much money do you think he's going to make on like books and things like that?
I think he's going to make boatloads of cash. Remember Reagan went over to Japan and got like $1 million a speech?
Yeah, they all make. I mean, they make tons of money.
Okay, well, thank you.
I mean, when I think of what he owes all the lawyers, though, I mean, first of all...
Why, you going to ask him for a loan?
The first $50 million will have to go to pay legal fees and who knows what else. And if, in fact, Arkansas... If Arkansas does disbar him, which is quite possible, he won't be able to practice as a lawyer, so he'll end up having to be teaching at Harvard or something like that, which doesn't pay that much, but for speaking engagements, he'll get $100,000, $500,000 a pop.
Hey, did you see the...
he won't go to the poorhouse.
Did you see any clips of the Lazio Hillary debate? And did you think the Lazio was unfair or awkward or just fine when he invaded Hillary's
space? Oh, I just thought it was absurd. I mean, that's one of those things that's choreographed in advance. They decided he was going to do that. I just hate all that
I thought
stuff.
He looked stupid.
It was not spontaneous.
No.
It looked absurd. I thought Russert's question to her was outrageous.
Me too. I don't understand why we're still talking about the vast right-wing conspiracy.
I don't know why we're still talking about her husband's infidelity. She's running for the Senate. What does that have to do with her husband screwing around?
Right. Although Monica does live in New York. Where did I hear that? That's Hillary's tie. Oh, it was a Letterman joke last night. You see, they do have ties in New York. His former girlfriend lives there. All right, let's take a break. 333 PCNC. Do you think did indeed George put the duh in W? Do you think Mr. Gore is going to continue, or might George actually, whatever, blah, blah, blah. 333 PCNC, Lynn Cullen's here. It's a lovely night in Pittsburgh. We're live in the Channel 11 newsroom set for this week only on the Night Talk show. Lynn Cullen is here, and your calls are here, like Janice. Hi, Janice. Janice.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I have a question for the fella there. That caller, the woman that called about Hoary Gory, he never really gave her an answer. Why?
What was the question?
What was her question?
Her question was why all the time is he putting Bush down all the time, it's every night on the show. He's putting Bush down, putting Bush down.
Me? Because I think he's an idiot.
Oh, he's an idiot. Well,
yes.
Why don't we wait until the debate's coming? Do you want another 4 to 8 years of the same mold Clinton came from?
Yes.
That's exactly. Well,
yes.
You're in for a rude awakening.
That's what I want.
Because
you listen to me.
Clinton sucks, and so will Gore. I mean.
No, it was the intern. Wake up.
No, you wake up. And then, you know what? If you could do a better job, why didn't you run for president?
Because I'm an idiot. Don't vote for me. All right, here is Ray.
You know, these calls are hysterical.
I'm dying.
Well, you know what? It's kind of the same thing I hear on the Quinn show, and I should know I'm his biggest agitator. But
the Jim Quinn show, yeah. Go ahead.
But I was just listening to Lynn, and the people calling up and attacking her. It seems, you know, I've got a lot of friends who are Republicans. I don't like to knock them as a whole. But it seems like they can only think of things as black, white, up and down.
Awfully thin skinned, aren't they?
They automatically, they automatically assumed that because Lynn is a Democrat or quote-unquote liberal, that she couldn't have voted for Jim Roddy.
Or she did.
I'm a Democrat myself, but because I'm a Democrat, I have to be against guns, and that's ridiculous.
No, you're shooting up the neighborhood every night, aren't you, Ray?
Oh, absolutely.
No, it's that bumper sticker mentality that it drives me insane. And there's Democrats like that, and there's Republicans like that, and they clearly don't have an operative brain. They're incapable of thinking for themselves.
But it's like I said, it's either up, down.
Well, that's right, but that's idiotic because the world isn't like that. The world's all about gradations. It is rarely black and white. Rarely. I can think of one or two things that might be black and white.
And everybody that's coming up against you guys, for slamming Bush, none of them gives anything substantive. It's always, well, he's better than Gore, and that's all you get.
Well, I don't think it's exactly the intelligentsia that's been calling in.
Yeah. All right.
Well, it's Night Talk. What do you want? Low rent program.
Thanks, guys.
Ray, thanks a lot.
Thank you. It's kind of you.
I think you look better on this set on that tight shot that George has than you did on the old set in the other studio.
Why is that, George? He lit
or am I
that.
wrong
George
about
lit that studio.
Look at that. Isn't that a pretty good lighting for her kind of a thing?
For her? What does that mean?
No, I mean everybody could use specific lighting is all I'm saying. Whatever.
Well, and I forgot my
Maybe
mascara. I don't have my,
Here's
I'm not
Frank.
all made up.
Frank, how are you tonight?
How are you?
Fine, how you doing?
Well, fine. I'm a first-time caller, and I'm a person of modest intellect. Maybe that's why I'm watching
the crowd.
Show. Yeah, I figured as much. I do have to tell you one thing. I have the sound down, and because of the delay, when Lynn talks, it comes out of your mouth, and when you talk, it comes out of hers. And I have to tell you,
because we're both talking out of both sides of our mouths at all times,
it makes
pal.
a more interesting program. She sounds rather sexy and husky, and you're way out there light on your feet. But anyway, the reason...
Oh, stop it. I assume that's supposed to be me?
It's supposed to be Madeline Cullen.
No, not me. The reason I'm calling is...
Will you let this gentleman talk?
All right.
Yeah, please. Give me a break here.
Thank you.
I thought your show might have an opportunity to just provide an opportunity for people to have some intelligent discourse. I haven't made up...
Sometimes we have fun with it. We go back and
My
forth.
show does that on the radio.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, Lynn, I have to work through the day, and I can't listen to the radio. But I have one... I'm going to tell you, I have one problem with Gore. And I'm leaning towards Bush, but I have a problem with Gore, and I'm going to tell you what it is. And I'm a Vietnam veteran. I think there's a lot out there like me. Most of the people that you know will talk about their service. A lot of them will embellish their record. But I am infuriated that Gore embellishes his time in Vietnam.
How?
Where he was a photojournalist.
Right.
Well, he says that.
He was there for 6 months.
Right.
Right.
And I just read a report by a military officer where Gore said he carried a gun, he was on the perimeter, he got shot at, and a guy he is with is a cakewalk. Now, I don't
know if that report's accurate. I mean, I haven't seen it in the press.
Let me just say this. Anybody who served in any combat zone, I respect. But let's not...
So you don't respect him more for at least going to Vietnam than sticking in the Texas National Guard?
But I'm just saying, well, it's not an issue of that. It's an issue of integrity. It's an issue of integrity with me. So many people gave their lives. So many people throughout.
And what did George W. do at the same point in time?
What did Bill Clinton do at the same point?
We're not talking about Bill Clinton. We're talking about me,
I understand that.
George W. Bush had Daddy get him into the Texas National Guard.
And Gore's dad had him in and out in 6 months. Okay? I don't know anybody who did a 6-month tour in Nam unless they came home wounded. That's all. That's my only point on that integrity issue. On another issue, just with regards to media bias, I think this election is very important for this country, regardless of who's in the House or in the White House. There has to be some real discussions on the issue. You guys have an opportunity to present a solid discussion, at times joking, but there's a lot of people in Pittsburgh who, and I think in the region, who don't have access to some other forms of media, and what you put out is what people believe.
Right, and I want them to believe that George is an idiot.
How can you say people don't have access to media? This is an information age. There's access to everything.
I know, and the media bias is so incredibly outrageous.
Turn on your radio, and the radio, I mean, 90% of the radio talk shows are conservative Republican organs. I am the only liberal radio talk show in this city, in this area.
And as conservative Republican organs, they're naturally small.
Speak for yourself.
All right.
I do enjoy your show.
Oh, good.
But I just have to. I think you have an opportunity to.
No, I know. We're serious a lot and we're goofy a lot. It's sort of depending on the mood of the evening.
Well, I wish you both well.
Dale and I will be on the show tomorrow night. We'll probably be really boring and substantive.
Thank you.
I'll call you tomorrow night when you are boring and let you know.
Nice to talk to you.
Here's John is on the line. John, how are you?
I liked him. He was like
he was a good guy,
he was a solid person.
Yeah. John, you still there? John may have gone away. Okay.
Now, will you explain something to me?
Sure.
Do we have time?
I don't know.
I'm looking at these polls.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, it says here that with women, this is a CNN USA Today Gallup poll, all three of them. Gore has 53% of women.
Yeah.
Bush has 36%. So he's really leading with women. Men, Bush has 47%.
Right.
Gore has 44%. That's a tighter thing, but Bush is leading. Now, here's the one that drives me crazy. They say, regardless of which one you like, Gore or Bush, which one do you think would do the best job of keeping the economy strong?
And they say Gore.
They all say Gore, men and women.
Well, that's because
which one do you think would do the best job of keeping Social Security and Medicare financially sound? The men say, without a doubt, Al Gore.
Okay.
Ask them who will improve the health care system. The men say 51 to 34%. Al Gore. Ask them who will improve education. The men say
Bush.
Gore.
No? Really? Because, as you know, that's been Bush's thing.
All of these important issues, pocketbook issues, education issues, they say Al Gore is the guy who will do the best job. Then you ask them, who are you voting for? And they say George Bush.
Because women are smarter than men. It's that simple. There you go. I know, hard to believe.
If somebody could please explain that to me.
Women are smarter than men. You go along with that, right, George? Anybody disagree here?
Unbelievable.
All right, we're out of time. That's what I think. You got any final words? We have 5 seconds.
We do?
Yeah.
Am I out of here?
Yes.
I want to thank you very much for having me here.
Listen to her tomorrow, 12 to 3, WPTT.
1360 AM. 1360 AM. For refreshing, intelligent talk radio.
Yeah. Back in a moment with a final word. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow night in this program, Richard Florida is going to tell us how to keep the young people in Pittsburgh by keeping Pittsburgh a real groovy center of high tech. And John Delano will engage in a semi-serious discussion of the Gore-Bush continuing yabba, yabba, yabba. A real anchor person, Joanie Costanza, straight ahead with the 10 o'clock news. Have a great evening, everyone.